On this week's episode of Food from Fiction, we're going to make Maniac Magee's favorite food, which are called Butterscotch Krimpets. Apparently, Butterscotch Krimpets are a real food. When I first read this book, I just assumed it was an imaginary food that was just happened to be in this book, but it's not. I have not actually ever tried one, so bear with me if my recipe does not seem up to par. Maniac Magee. If you have never read it, it's an absolutely delightful book, because I try to pick books I like. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Anyways, it won the Newbery in 1991, and since then has become a book that almost every grade school kid has read because it deals with homelessness, death, a lot of racial issues, and does so in a way that makes all of these issues seem less daunting. Not sure if that's the right word. Therefore, people have really strong opinions about this book. Some people think it does an excellent job bringing up a lot of these issues and helping kids work through some of the issues. And on the other hand, a lot of people think it either doesn't do a good enough job or it's, trite or whatever issues they have. So you should definitely read it, see what you think. Maniac Magee, pretty fun. Alright, so I put all of my dry ingredients in a separate bowl. I have flour, baking powder, and salt. And in another bowl, I'm going to crack some eggs. The recipe I found calls for 4 eggs, but as you will see momentarily, I'm only using 3 eggs, and that's because I've decided to use duck eggs. So I have like a snazzy little duck egg to chicken egg conversion rate, so the recipe calls for 4 eggs. Alright, and now I'm going to beat these until they're super fluffy and light. That way we can get more air into it. I beat my eggs. Now I'm going to put in some sugar. And some brown sugar. One of the things I personally enjoyed when I reread Maniac Magee is that the hero is rescued by a girl, and I think that's just an excellent thing to have in a book, especially one that's written in a format that's sort of legend-esque or story-esque. It just helps reinforce the ideas that are so prominent in this book about inequality existing and maybe fighting against it or just being aware of it and not letting it rule your decisions. Okay, so I'm mixing this all together. Now I'm going to put some oil . And milk. And some vanilla. We just barely had enough, so good thing. Alright, so I'm going to mix this gently because now it's really soupy. And now I'm just gonna slowly add our dry ingredients. So I prepared a 9 by 13 inch pan. I greased it and I put parchment paper in it. Anytime I use parchment paper, it always looks like a gerbil has made a nest, but parchment paper is really great and you should definitely give it a try. I preheated the oven to 350. And all right, so this is like a really, really wet mixture batter. And I'm gonna stop mixing now because we don't want it to get tough. We want it to be light and fluffy. So into the pan it goes. I'm going to return the Maniac Magee to the library, so anybody that wants to put a reserve on it and get it from the curbside service, please feel free to do so. Same goes for any of the other books I ever cook from. Because we are really excited that the library is partially back open. Okay, so into the oven with this. And we will check on it in 25-ish minutes and see if it's done. Okay, I actually ended up giving it 30 minutes because it was not ready at 25. So, we're going to leave that to cool for a while and then we will make our frosting and cover it. Okay, our cake has cooled enough for us to make a frosting and put it on there. So I have some butter, which I'm going to beat with my hand mixer, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, next in our frosting, I melted some butterscotch chips, and we're going to put that into the butter and beat that up as well. Next, we're going to start adding our powdered sugar, which is always really, really messy, so bear with me for a minute. Okay, and then to make it a little less thick, there we go, we're going to put in some heavy whipping cream. And the last ingredient that needs to go into our frosting is a little bit of salt. Making frosting is less about measuring things and more just playing with consistencies until you get it where you want. I don't know. That's just my take on frosting. So now our frosting is done. It's beautiful butterscotch frosting. And we're just going to put it not on the book, on top of our cake. This recipe makes a ton of frosting, so use as little or as much as you want. This is our Butterscotch Krimpets cake. To make it more Butterscotch Krimpet-esque, you just slice it up into bars, and that's Maniac Magee's favorite food. So check it out if you have never read it. Definitely introduce your middle level readers to it. I think it's really a good book for taking into mind what's going on right now around the country. So thanks for watching, and see you at the library.